Hey folks, we've been here once again. Welcome back to another Batman review. Hope you all like my Batman shirt. Sorry for the quality. Maybe not too bright. Hope you all mind this. I was going to open my blinds, but it's just too bright in here, so. And I don't want y'all to get blind while watching the video or anything, and I know my audio sucks, but I also know that, I'm sorry for the quality, sorry, but don't think I have right now. But, yeah. But anyway, guys, well, like I said, welcome back to another Batman review. Hope you enjoyed my review of Batman 1989. It's still on my channel, which I did last Saturday, and today I am reviewing the sequel that came out to Batman 89. And this came out in 1992, stars again Michael Keaton reprising his role as Bruce Wayne / Batman, and here you have Danny DeVito, Michelle Pfeiffer, Christopher Walken starring in this movie, and that is the 1992 sequel, underrated in my opinion, Batman Returns. Yes, underrated sequel in my opinion. I love Batman Returns, very underrated. Yes, and I say a movie that had balls to do what it did. One thing I've always wanted to say here about parents complaining about it. Parents, it's just a movie. And two, you took your kids to go see it at the theater. So, and I don't think this movie is really that violent. Yeah, it has violence in it, but it's not that violent. I'm like, you want y'all to talk about violence? Go watch Deadpool. I've seen some violent superhero movies out there. And this can have violent moments, but not that violent. So I think parents just overreacted. And their kids crying because, again, yes, look at this poster. Look at it. Does it seem like a kid? Look at the Penguin. Look at Catwoman. Look at Batman. Does it seem like a kiddie movie? When Batman 89, watch that movie. Does it seem like it was a kid's movie? No. A Batman is a dark superhero. He's a dark character. Pretty much a vigilante if you think about it, but he is a dark character. So what did you expect? But I guess because the Happy Meal toys instead, of course. But it also says PG-13, which is also for dark brooding violence. So, yeah. But, again, a movie that has balls to do what it did with its plot and story. So, I do have some issues with the movie, some problems, but despite that, it's still a fun, entertaining sequel. Do I think it's just as good as Batman 89? Yes, in my opinion, but I still think Batman 89 is a better movie. But, to be honest, though, I love both movies. I think both films are classics. And they're two of the best Batman films, in my opinion. So, anyway, let's get into the review. Because we're in 3 minutes. So, pretty much after the success of Batman, Warner Brothers planned, they wanted to start filming a sequel. Tim Burton not only had an idea to do a sequel, there was no talks of it. But after Batman 89 became successful, made all the money at the box office, Warner Brothers talked to him. Of course, he had done a movie, Edward Scissorhands, and at this time he was also working on another movie, which was a film, basically a Disney animated film, but a dark Disney film, and that was called The Nightmare Before Christmas. The Nightmare Before, Christmas, which he kind of, he was real busy at the time, though, directing this movie. There was another director working on that movie, but Tim Burton would fly back to wherever to go to sit on the filming of Nightmare Before Christmas for some ideas for that movie, so he was just really busy then. But sets from the previous film were stored at a cost of $250,000. Tim Burton originally did not want to direct another film of the franchise. I will return that the sequel offers something new and exciting, which, Warner Brothers gave him full creative control. What if they said, Tim, what if it's not a Batman film, but a Tim Burton movie? And Tim Burton said, okay, I'm in. Otherwise, it's the most dumbfounded idea, but Burton decided to direct Edward Scissorhands, which was 20th Century Fox. Sam Hamm delivered the first two drafts of the script, while Bob Kane was brought back as a creative consultant because, again, he was the creator of Batman. Both creator of Batman, the Penguin, and Catwoman was uncredited at the time of the film's release. His name was not edited to many Batman. Well, Bill Finger was also the creator of Batman, too. Again, he created, I believe, the look of Batman, of Batman's costume, what he looked like, and some of the characters of the Penguin. So it's a shame that Bill Finger gets uncredited, which I think he deserves. Bob Kane, I thank him for what he did, but I do think he was a glory hound a bit, and I do think, he took kind of the success of Batman for himself a little bit, which was kind of selfish of him to do that. But anyway, I know it's a bit dark in here. Still the light on? No, it's just too much light. Could open my blinds, but again, it might be too bright. Yeah, let's see. Maybe dampen them a little bit. How's it looking? I think this might be a little better. Obviously, the lighting can be too much, and I apologize for it. But anyway, Ham's script had the Penguin and Catwoman going after hidden treasure, which I heard was the idea. But they wanted to do the Penguin and Catwoman. Burton came up with some sketches for the characters. Burton was impressed with Danny Waters' work on Heathers. Burton originally brought Waters aboard on the sequel to Beetlejuice. Burton then negotiated with Warner Bros. For the first film's producers Jones Peters and Peter Grover to become executive producers. Joining Benjamin McLean and Michael Uslan, Denise Tom and Burton became the film's top billed producers, with Larry Franco replacing Chris Kinney as the line producer. Devastated with the Ham's script, Burton commissioned a rewrite from Waters. Waters came up with a social satire that had an evil mole backing a bid for the mayor's office by the Penguin. Waters reported, "I'm sure they got that idea from the 60s show, because in the 60s show, Burgess Meredith's Penguin was planning to run for mayor of Gotham City, so..." Oh, I just said, yes, they did get the idea from that. Because Penguin run for mayor was from Hunters of the Penguin and Tellers of the Penguin. Waters scored a total of 5 drafts. On the creation of Catwoman, Waters explained Sam Hamill back to the way comic books treat women, like physically sexual fantasy. "I want to start just as the lowest point in society, a very beaten down secretary." Harvey Dent appeared in early drafts of the script, but was deleted. His disfiguring appearance Two-Face would have appeared in climax when Catwoman kisses him with a taser to the face, which was replaced with Max Schreck. Waters quoted, "Sam Hamm definitely planned that. I flirted with it, having Harvey started to come back and have one scene where he flips a coin, and it's the good side of the coin, deciding not to do anything, so you had to wait for the next movie. In early scripts, Max Schreck was the golden boy, the golden pot family, whereas the Penguin was the deformed outsider. It turned out that Schreck would be the Penguin's long-lost brother. Max Schreck was also a reference to actor Max Schreck, known for his role as Cunliffe and Nustapiece. Pre-production, Burton hired Wesley Schreck to replace Waters for the updated shooting script principal photography. Schreck recalled, "When I was hired to write Batman Returns, Batman 2 at the time, they called it just Batman 2, the big problem with the script was the Penguin's lack of a master plan. Warner Brothers presented Gotham State with a warming of freezing Gotham City, a plot point that would later be used in Batman and Robin. State gained inspiration from a Moses parable that had the Penguin killing the firstborn sons of Gotham. A similar notion was used when the Penguin's parents threw him into rivers of bathing." But pretty much with the sequel, they go all out. With the sequel, sometimes you gotta do bigger, you gotta try to do better, you gotta be different with the sequel. You have to do things differently. And with this film, yeah, they do go darker, Robin appeared in the script, but was deleted because it was felt the film had too many characters, which I agree with. And again, it was not a good time to have Robin in here. The most worthless character in the world, especially with Batman as the owner of loans. Robin started out as a juvenile gang leader who becomes now as Batman. Robin will change to about teenage garage mechanic. What was the point? He's wearing this old-fashioned garage mechanic uniform, and this has R on it. He drives the Batmobile, which I noticed that used in the third film. Marlon Wayans was cast as Silence for a sequel. David had attended a wardrobe ring, but decided to save the character for a third installment. Michael Keaton returned after increase of his salary to $10 million. So, of course, I guess Burton convinced him to come back. And he decided, of course, what he didn't do, what he could have done with the character, some different things he could have done with Batman and Bruce and situations in the film. Annette Bening was cast as Catwoman, and everyone started her performance as character, but she dropped out due to her pregnancy. You had other actors for Catwoman like Rachel Welch, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Madonna Ellen Birkin, Cher, Bridget Fonda, Lorraine Barco, Jennifer Lewis, and Susan Sanders were considered. Sean Young, who was originally chosen for Vicky Bell, but she got into that horse accident, she wanted to be Catwoman, so I think she walked. Burton wasn't familiar with Michelle Pfeiffer's work, but was convinced to cast her after one meeting. From what I heard, Sean Young came into Burton's office, or into an office of the Warner Bros. Of Burton, and maybe Michael Keaton was there, and showed up as Catwoman, just walked right in the Catwoman suit, and she even walked on, I think, the David Letterman show or some show, whatever, just as Catwoman, but she didn't get the part. But instead, Pfeiffer received a $3 million role, and she had done movies too, I guess. The actress undertook kickboxing lessons for the role, and she trained for 3 months for mastering for Catwoman's whip. Kathy Longshore was Pfeiffer's body double. On Dan DeVito's casting, Waters explained, I kind of knew that DeVito was going to play the Penguin. Of course, we didn't really fix the cast, but for a short, nice little guy, shortless. I think there was like, Danny DeVito said there was like in the paper with Danny DeVito played the Penguin, and of course Burton talked him into it, and Danny DeVito really got into character in this film, and he really became the Penguin. He's a method actor, and he really got into the character, so he was pretty much acting like Penguin even behind the scenes. I think he even said in the interview in his biography that he would be in his trailer alone just to feel lonely, feel like he's just lonely and angry. Anybody from the cast can hang out with him in his trailer, but no friends or family can hang out with him. So he just wanted to get into the character of Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin. So Burton's narrative to portray the Penguin was cast in cameo roles. Tucker Cobblepot, Penguin fell ill. Instead, the role was taken by Paul Rubens, who had Robert Burton on Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Tim Burton's first movie. Also, Paul Rubens would play Penguin's father again in Gotham, in the TV show Gotham. So, filming, Gotham City, they kind of made it look different. Other people say this is a Christmas movie, but I never really consider. I'll get into that later. I'm sorry. But as I said, they make Gotham City still looks amazing. 2 of Hollywood's largest sound stages, stage 16 at Warner Bros. And stage 12 at Universal Studios, were being prepared for filming of Batman Returns. Filming started in June 1991. A half-million-gallon tank full of water was used. Burton wanted to make sure that the Penguin felt comfortable, because of course they had penguins. The animal rights groups started protesting the film. They found the penguins had wires strapped on their backs. It was 45 degrees weather, and it's difficult for some of the cast members, especially for these 3 who were in makeup, being in such hot temperature. Michelle Pfeiffer said, in her catsuit, she couldn't walk, she couldn't breathe, she couldn't hear, she couldn't act because of how hard it was. And sometimes Dan DeVito, his makeup would kind of fall off a bit, so his lady who put the Penguin makeup on him, she had to kind of redo it a couple times. And Michael Keaton, they made the suit better. They do change Batman's suit in here, and the cowl you can see it looks different from the first movie, where I think he can actually move his head, but he doesn't have to fully turn around. But they changed it for him. And then you do have little penguins in here. Yeah, you can see the penguins with rockets. Some of the real penguins were animal trainers. Some were little midget people. There were midget people who were dressed as penguins. Stan Winston came into work to work on it. Kevin Costner was refused a chance to visit the set. The final shot of Catwoman laying at the bat signal was completed in post-production, but it was not Michelle Pfeiffer because she was unavailable. It was another actress who just, you see her face pop up at the end, well, just behind, basically, behind her head. Bill Welch, Burns collaborated on Beetlejuice and Never Sister Hands, replaced Antonio as a production designer, so they do change some of that. The way Gotham City looks, the way some of the sets look. Dan DeVito had to wear, fake teeth, combination of mouthwash and red green food coloring in his mouth to create a gross texture of some weird ooze. The intentional concept of the dying came from Tim Burton, who designed a stuffed cat with stitches. They had more than 60 latex cat suits fitted for the 6-month shoot at $1,000 each. The prototype was created around the body cast of Pfeiffer so that it would fit her exactly, and painted the white stone rubber to imitate stitches. They, of course, did some practice shoots or screen tests for a Catwoman suit. The bat suit was outdated, which was made out for a thinner, somewhat more flexible than flubber material than the first movie, and the logo was changed to better reflect how it looked in the comics. The new bat suit also had a zipper for Ukraine, and the upper body belt did not look like a muscular Zeke. DeVito was uncomfortable with his costume, but it made it easy for him to get the character. JP, it made him easy. He was uncomfortable with it, but hey, I give him credit, all that makeup he had to wear. He really got in his character. I think the individual, great actor in my opinion. I love how he got in his character. The band was originally composed with CGI. Stan Winston, who's done, worked on animatronics and many other movie special effects. I believe he was the late Stan Winston. He did some miniature effects for making the Penguin. They used it for the Cobalt Mansion and Wayne Manor. Some miniature in the basketball, which were all miniatures for the movie. I know in Batman 89 you can tell it was a miniature, but in this one, no. They really do it perfectly. But the King Penguins that they were used, some of them were created by Stan Winston. So the music score was by Danny Elfman, who changed bits of the score, but he gave the score for some of the characters and stuff. You have a song called Face to Face by Sirix and the Banshees. The song can be heard one scene during the film and during the end credits. And of course, on the special edition here, which is the 2D special edition of Batman Returns, you do have the making of it, the Bat, the Cat, and the Penguin, Shadows of the Bat, Cinematography, The Dark Knight Part 4, Beyond Batman, Face to Face music video. So if you want to watch more of the making of the movie, if you just get the special edition of Batman Returns, or if you have it on Blu-ray, you might have the making of it and stuff. So for the film's release, for the marketing of the movie, like I said, Tim Burton had talked to McDonald's advertisers. Well, McDonald's themselves, the company, who were pressuring him if they wanted to do this, because again, Batman 89 became a big thing. Batman was big at this time, because we also, I think, this was also the year Batman animated series came out. So, Batman, maybe this was before this, I don't know, but anyway, but Batman became a big deal. I guess you could say they wanted a piece of the pie, piece of the money. So McDonald's had marketing for Batman Returns. They for Batman Returns, they had McDonald's cups for the characters, for the Penguin, Catwoman, and Batman. You had Catwoman, playing Catwoman in some of the commercials, or Batman, and they do a Diet Coke commercial, not with Alfred, but with Batman and the Batmobile driving with Diet Coke. Catwoman throws him a Diet Coke. Batman is able to get, I think using his Bat Rebel to grab the Diet Coke in some toy commercials for kids and stuff. And the movie did get backlash for that, for being too dark and violent, which, again, it's Batman, so what do you expect? I mean, again, look at this poster. When you look at the poster, you ought to think this is going to be a dark movie. You just have to look at it and see that it's PG-13. Again, this isn't the 60th Batman campy TV series, which they were trying to get away from. But let's talk about Batman Returns. Let's see. Batman Returns did have a video game for the Sega Genesis, NES. Now, I've never played the game, but I remember when I was at Goodwill, I was looking over the electronic station, and they had some Nintendo, video games or whatever, and I saw the Batman Returns video game. Yeah, I was tempted to want to play it, but I couldn't. Gameplay, though, for this game is that you do play as Batman. I guess. It's kind of old stuff. The version of the game was released in 1993. The gameplay graphics are similar to the fight. The game takes place due to the several scenes featured in the film. Each scene has a boss fight that Batman must win in order to proceed to the next scene. Scene 1 takes place in Gotham's Plaza, where Batman fights the numerous Red Triangle Circus gangsters who work for the Penguin, the Penguin's goons. Where Batman fights numerous and saves Selina Kyle from the stun gun clown who took her hostage. In Scene 2, Batman fights the circus gang throughout Gotham City streets, facing the tattooed strongman at the boss. Climbing on the rooftops of the Scene 3, Batman encounters Catwoman, who escapes to an abandoned building where Penguin sets a trap for Batman, but he manages to take on Catwoman and Penguin in Scene 4. Scene 5, Batman drives the Batmobile and uses a machine gun to destroy Penguin's campaign van. Moving to Scene 6, Batman goes to the circus train and defeats Penguin's right-hand man, the organ grinder. Penguin escapes to the abandoned Arctic world in Scene 7. Batman destroys his duck vehicle and only gains upper hand on Penguin once and for all. Meanwhile, Catwoman escapes and marches as Batman gets called for another adventure. Various members of the British Army gang attack Batman throughout the game. Batman has a number of weapons and moves at the disposal, including the Batarang, a number of rebels with 2 dismissal. The genesis of the game is a beat 'em up game. Oh, working? Okay. Yeah. But I've never played the game before. So, but the film is directed, of course, by Tim Burton, written by Daniel Waters, stories by Daniel Waters and Sam Hamm, produced by Denise Denai, and Tim Burton. Cinematography is by Stephen Crispy. It's edited by Chris Lensman. I can't say that right. Music by Danny Elfman. Distributed by Warner Brothers. Oh, and by the way, the film was released June 19th, 1992. I forgot to say, by the way, this film turned 30 years this year, so happy 30 years to Batman Returns. The budget of making the movie was $65.8 million, and at the box office it made $266.9 million. It's 126 minutes long, so about 2 hours at least. But it goes by a good pace, so it doesn't feel like it. But anyway, yeah, and the cast of the movie is Al Keaton as Bruce Wayne Batman, Dan DeVito as Oswald Cobblepot, the Penguin, Michelle Pfeiffer as Selena Kyle, Catwoman, Christopher Walken as Matt Shreck, Michael Goff as Alfred Pennyworth, Pat Hingle as Commissioner Gordon, Michael Murphy as the Mayor. Michael Murphy would also be and also star in another Superman movie, X-Men: The Last Stand, in 2006. Vincent Chernow as the Ordering Grinder, Andrew Pernick as Chip Shreck, Chip, son of Matt Shreck, Christy Conway as the Ice Princess, Rick Simone as Detective Strongman, Anna Katrine as the Poodle Lady, Paul Rubens as Terry Cobblepot, the father of Oswald, and Diana Simler as Esther Cobblepot. Doug Jones plays the Thin Clown. There we go. So that's it for the cast of the movie. Alright. So pretty much the plot synopsis of what Batman Returns is about is that in this sequel around this time, Batman has to face two villains, that is the Penguin and Catwoman. The Penguin has a plan to kill all Gotham City's firstborns by dealing with Matt Shreck, who is in business with Penguin, and Penguin is planning to run for mayor of Gotham City, and then you have, to bring Gotham City under their control, and Catwoman, who seeks vengeance against Shreck, and she pretty much has her own agenda in here. Basically, she's a woman living in a man's world, and she has this crime that happens to her. I'm going to turn my blinds up. Yes, getting too bright. And so, yeah, that's pretty much the plot in a nutshell for you, if you didn't get that. But, and of course, Batman has to defeat Penguin and stop Catwoman from trying to kill Shreck. But, plot in a nutshell for you. I'll be right back. Then I'll start talking about the movie itself, and maybe read some quotes from it, and then give my final opinion on Batman Returns. I just hope you guys can see me and hear me. I'm so sorry about the quality once again. But so Batman Returns, let's get into it. Talking about the movie itself. The movie pretty much starts off with, we see, a nice opening shot of the Cobblepot mansion, and you see Tucker and Esther Cobblepot, and basically the Penguin is born, and of course he's a deformed baby. All you hear is these nightmare screams. Paul Rubens is listening. Tucker, Penguin's father, he's just listening, smoking his cigarette, just listening, and goes to check and see what's screaming about. You have a lady, a nurse, freaking out, and then a doctor, he's been thrown up or disgusted or something. Then he goes over, Tucker goes in there, and then he screams. They lock Oswald in a cage, and Oswald in the cage, he's just pouncing at it, and there's this cat that comes by, and he's next to his cage, and the Penguin's parents just stare, and then Oswald just grabs, baby Oswald just grabs the cat and kills it. You don't see it, you just see him grab the cat. And I guess out of embarrassment, they decide to get rid of him. yes, this is pretty much dark and disturbing, but like I said, and they pretty much, what Tucker and Esther do is take baby Oswald, they, see some people like, hi, how are you, Merry Christmas, and you see them walking, they go to a place where it's the sewers, and they pick up Oswald's crate, or whatever, and they throw him in the water. He's in the crate, or a basket, basically, kind of like Moses in the Bible, or his basket, and as the basket is going down, they just stare, watching the baby go. I guess they just wanted to inform, but yeah, it's really fucked up, to be honest, what they do. But that's what this kind of movie is. It's Batman. It's dark. So, again, I'd say they had some balls to do this. Again, movie that has balls to do it. And then, you hear Baby Oswald cry, kind of knows when the basket falls, but he's in the water. And as well as when we get the opening credits, Batman returns. And then he is at the feet of these Emperor Penguins, are basically from the zoo, and they kind of, she's like, just take him in, raise him. And he pretty much spends his days living in the sewers. And then we get 33 years later in Gotham, where Gotham is getting ready for Christmas time. So this movie has Christmas in it as well. You see a big Christmas tree where the Ice Princess lights it up, and the Penguin is, he seems sneaking around, and he's got some plan. And people talk about him, the hideous Penguin Man, that people think he's just a myth and doesn't exist. Even like when seeing Alfred is Christmas shopping. And, paper boys like this, read all about it, the Penguin Man being seen, and he just tell Alfred about it. I was like, young man, it is, reading such rubbish is garbage. And some of the time, it's the waste of time. Alfred says something like that, he's like, whatever. And Alfred walks and he thinks he sees like a hand in the sewer. And so Alfred just looks, and just walks away, thinking he saw nothing. Then you have Max Schreck, who is a business tycoon, owning his own Shrek business, and of course Selena Kyle is his secretary. Like I said, she's trapped in a man's world. She's kind of, I'll say, physically abused, but men treat her great. People mistreat her a lot. She's kind of an outcast, as you can say. Shrek is talking. He wants to talk about owning this power plant that he wants to buy. He wants to pretty much. Max Schreck's plan in this movie is to steal Gotham's electricity. I don't know what for a reason, to be honest, but he can't do the good power plant unless the mayor gives him permission. Selena's like, I have a question. Is like, I have something to say, and then she's like, well, one of my questions like, Miss Kyle, awkward, but she makes a hell of a cup of coffee, and he mocks her in front of them. And Selena's like, well, more of like a question. You see corn dog, and she's like, okay, I gotta do this, and then Selena's like, oh darn, she forgot to give him the speech. They go down there and give a speech about, kind of like a Christmas speech, about the tree lights, and Max Schreck gives a speech, and he doesn't have it, he has to make up one, he's like, here's the sunship, let's take it out on, what's her name, Selena, of course, although Selena's on her way down. But meanwhile, Penguin is watching, he's like, oh, but you can, oh, but you will. And then you see this big faux Christmas present, and then things below it, it's the Red Triangle Gang, and I like the musical here. They start terrorizing everybody. You have skeletons, people in giant skeleton masks, riding bikes, and they're attacking Gotham citizens, and Commissioner goes like, what are you waiting for? The signal! And then Bruce Wayne, who's just sitting there like this, just a guy with nothing better to do and purpose in life. Like, I agree with Paul Dini, who said this, who was the creator of the anime series. Batman, of course, Bruce Wayne's got nothing better to do than except to be Batman. And then you see the Bat's in the film, the Bat's in a lot, and he gets up. Keaton still has the eyes for Batman, basically. And of course, he goes to suit up, and he's on the way with his Batmobile. And, as they're, Batman shows up with the Batmobile, knocks some criminals out, he's got I don't know if he's got these discs in the Batmobile, but he's using these discs of the Batmobile, flinging out and shoot the bad guys. And he has some criminals jump on his car, start, with guns, trying to shoot the Batmobile is bulletproof, and Batman just rams it up and first, and just gets these two guys knocked out, and one returner who's getting through, like can throw fire out of his mouth, just throws at Batman. Batman's able to turn the car around. This is very cool because Batman is an expert in gadgets, and Batman has gadgets, plenty of them, I'm sure. And Batman's able to turn around and instead of like get on fire, he just kills them. But again, Batman does Batman does kill in this movie, but like I said, Batman did start off that way. This is Batman still. I mean, the city trusts Batman now, of course. Ever since Batman, after he defeated Joker, they gave it back, so they trust Batman. But he still does kill, But eventually he will stop doing that. And then after doing that, he sees Selina Kyle, drops the papers. This clown kidnaps her. It's like, they got a taser on her. Batman sees this, comes out of the Batmobile, punches one of the skeletons to try to attack him. And he's like, he's got Selina. He's like, he's taking one step closer to Batman. No, and Selina's really freaked out. And Batman gets his back up out, shoots at him, and shoots her behind a wall. And he's like, you missed, And Batman just grabs the and he's able to, get some of the piece of the building out, and hits the guy in the head. And it's like, and Selina's like, she's like, kicks him, he's like, wow, the Batman just staring at her. He's like, oh, is it just Batman? And then Batman just was like, your choice, of course, okay. Short conversation, like all the men in my life, and she just, but then again, he says, you're right. And sometimes she goes awkwardly talks to herself, but Michelle Pfeiffer, again, great. But anyway, Selina picks up the taser and just looks at it, and no one's watching. She tases the clown and is like, and decides to keep it. And Commissioner Gordon thanks Batman for saving the day. Batman just walks away again. Then Max Shreck runs away because the Charlie was trying to kidnap him. I like the one they were trying to kidnap him that they said, we want the boss. Me? He's like, not you. And they knocked the mayor out. And he's like, Shrek. And she was like, you have to go through me, And it's like, ooh. Because they had guns pointing at him. It was like, Dad, go, save yourself. Dad, go, save yourself. I'm sorry. Chip's voice is just funny. He sounds like a boxer more than a businessman. Anyway, Shrek runs and Penguin is able to eventually capture him. I guess there's like a trick under door or whatever that Shrek steps on, and he ends up in the, Shrek gets kidnapped, and Penguin goes up. Penguin's like, hi, I believe the word you're looking for is, ah! He's like, it's like, oh Max, I know so much about you. That he's a crooked businessman, and he's like, we're both received as monsters, but you are a respected monster, and I am to date not. And Penguin pretty much blackmails him, like telling him, I come from like you. I wasn't born in a sewer. He's like, I want to discover my family, my roots. Learning my human name. Finding out who my parents are, the good people of Gotham take for granted. It's like, and why am I gonna help you? He's like, well, let's see about that. And Penguin gets this bag, and it's like, some chemicals from your plant. And then he's like, paper shredded to plan what you're doing with it. He knows what Shrek is up to. And pretty much certain blackmail, he says, by the way, how's your old friend, your old business partner, Fred, doing? Fred, he's on extended vacation. He's good. Freaked out look. He's like, oh, how are you? He's like, hello, I'm the other side of Fred's hand. One of the greater body parts. Remember, Max, you flush it, I flaunt it. I was like, yes, Mr. Penguin, maybe I can give you I'll help you, with your plans. You don't want to grab this for shake. And he shakes with Frank's head, which is a dead hand, Then you see Selina go home in her apartment, kind of messy apartment looking, and feeding her cat and listening to these messages that get on her nerves, and from her mother who tries to call all the time, and then she's got calls from a guy who doesn't want to date her. She's like, I should let him win that racquetball game. And then she gets a message from herself that she forgot to do some paperwork on her boss Max's meeting with Bruce Wayne, and because of that, she has to go back to the office. She finds out Shrek's plans for the power plant, what he's come out to me is planning to do. And he's like, it's my legacy I leave behind for show. He says, how would you open the files? Mask. And, she tells him how she did it, and she's like, wait, I didn't tell nobody. It's like, okay, it's between us, honestly. And she gets scared, and he's, like, you can bully me, hit me, do something. It's like you just kill me. And then, because Shrek wants to get over now because she knows his plans, and he's like, huh? I'm just kidding. And she's like, oh, you're just kidding. For a minute, and then Max Shrek does this. For a minute, he pushes her, and pushes her, at a 40-story window, and Selena's, dead, and all these alley cats come running, and, it's just the music I like here as well. She's just doing this in her sleep, and a cat bites her or whatever, and she just, wakes back up. That is a little confusing to me, but I'll get into that later. She goes to the apartment, she's like, honey, I'm home. Oh, I forgot I'm not married. Drink some milk. She feeds her cat with too much milk. Gives her something that just goes it down. And she gets a message from her mother, deletes it, and then, has a message like, Selena Kyle, you can have this perfume that can make your boss stay for work. And then she just loses it, and then starts throwing stuff, starts tearing her apartment apart. She grabs her stuffed animals, starts trying to cut them, and put them in the dishwasher sink, turns that machine on, and just laughing about it, and just starts using a pan, starts breaking picture frames and mirrors, and breaks the dollhouse that she has, and is damaging everything in her apartment. She's just had enough. Her life's been tough. She's been through all this misery in a man's world, so she's sick of it. So she's finally deciding to become a vigilante, become a Catwoman. She makes her suit up, she makes his clothes up, she uses a sewing machine, makes a Catwoman suit, and I love the moment that when she sees Catwoman for the first time, she's like, I don't know about you, Miss Kitty, but I feel much yummier. And then next we see the mayor having a speech. And it's like, that incident that happened this week, that happened with the Red Triangle game won't happen this week. And then one of Penguin's men shows up and then grabs the baby. He's like, I might know for much for speeches, so I'll just say thanks. And then jumps in the sewer. He's like, the hideous Penguin man. The hideous penguin man, And the plan works, and the penguin grabs the baby. He's making noise to the baby. And then you see him come out, this like heroic thing so the penguin can save the baby. And then, Penguin's filming TV, he's like, and Bruce Wayne's watching the TV as well, while Alfred's making the Christmas tree. Penguin's like, giving a speech a little bit on TV saying about his parents. I guess my parents felt they'd do what they had to do to a child who was born a little different. I want to go to the Gotham archives, learn my human name, learn about my parents. And first Bruce feels bad for him because again he lost his parents. He's like, and Alfred's like, you okay, Mr. Wayne? Mr. Wayne's like, yeah, sure. It's his parents. Bruce is like, I hope he finds them. But Bruce does remain skeptical and he does some detective work. We do see a little bit of detective work on Batman 89. He does find out about the Red Triangle gang, about where they came from, about the hideous Penguin man that worked there but disappeared. He thinks that the Penguin and Red Triangle gang that Penguin is a crime boss, and to show them he's got some maybe plan, but he has no proof. But I like it when he's reading about this, Alfred gives him some food, he eats, he's like, Alfred, it's cold. It's cold. He's like, it's fishy sauce, sir. He's like, I like how the his face. This movie's pretty when Alfred can be funny in here. Alfred can just crack me up. And he's like, Alfred's like, it's supposed to be cold, sir. Then he tries to talk to Bruce about, aren't you the lonely bachelor? But Bruce is focused on what he's doing. And they go to the Gotham Hall of Records, not archives, but records. Penguin is getting these lists names. He's writing. Penguin does find his brother and I'll recall, but he's planning to write the first one Sons of Gotham City. He's writing all their names down. Batman is in the Batmobile, and Alfred calls him and is like, "Are you estranged about that strange penguin hero or whatever like that?" He says something. And he's like, Batman's like, "I think he knows who his parents are." He just finds Penguin very suspicious. Even sees Batman in the whole, Penguin in the whole record just writing up. Batman just staring at him, just watching every few seconds, and just shows up in the Batmobile. Can't really do anything to him because can't really prove that he's doing anything bad. But just leaves. And the press want to be all over Penguin, but the police and stuff are protecting him. And Max Rex says, "How about the right to discover your roots? So give the Constitution a rest, will you?" Then he finds out that his parents, Tucker and Esther, have long ago passed away. And, the cemetery scene where you have we have Penguin go to his parents' grave to put some flowers on there, just to say his goodbyes. And just walks away and said, Penguin! He's like, I'm a man. I have a name. Oswald Cobblepot. Mr. Cobblepot, you never got a chance to reclaim with him or whatever. Like, true, I was their number one son, and they treated me like number two. And as my hand, my flippers, because he has flippers for hands because he's a penguin, I was like, and instead, it didn't do 5 chubby digits as they wanted. They flinched. They freaked out on me. That's how it was. And Penguin was like, I forgive them. And Penguin sends a helpful message, and he pretty much is able to use his charm on the city, and people are liking him. Gotham City is starting to fall in love with Penguin, basically. And then you have something the first time as Catwoman. This woman is about to get raped by this man or whatever. Catwoman shows up. She's like, you can't fight someone else's eyes, and then the man tries to fight Catwoman, just kicks him, gives him a few kicks, and she pulls her clothes, tick-tack-toe, and then she says, it's a creepy smile, she's like, and no one's like, thanks, and then Catwoman just grabs her, and they're like, always waiting for some Batman to save you. I am Catwoman, hear me roar, and she just flips away. But eventually, Shred decides to use Oswald's fame to use on advantage, basically persuading him to run for mayor. So that, like I said, I guess he has to get permission from the mayor, Michael Murray, to get permission for the power plant. So his idea is to run for Penguin to run. Bruce Wayne goes to meeting with Bruce Wayne goes to meeting with, not with himself, but to talk to Max Schreck about the power plant. And he's like, I'm not going to prove it. I can't prove what Oswald's up to yet, but I think he will charm the gang. But unlike you, he's like, Bruce, shame on you. You think you can go 15 rounds with Muhammad Shrek? I could try. And he's like, I wouldn't have no crime boss. Like, crime boss, shows up you know, mister. And I was like, maybe if Oswald's parents hadn't bumped him off, he probably would have been preps together. You've probably been buddies at prep school together. He was like, and I'm going to put him with a sling in his office. And meanwhile, Selena Kyle walks in because he thinks that she's dead. And she walks in like, Selena, that's my name accidentally. Don't wear it out. And she says, did you know, what happened to her before? Bruce Wayne is just looking at her like, just like, wow. You know, because he's just very attracted to her. And they have good chemistry. But anyway, Selena tells him about, it's a blur. You know, there was this boy, Ricky Freeberg, she says it, you know, it's this incident that happened, then I remember this lady throwing up at church, and anyway, the guy's dead now. But overall, you know, I was like, Selena, would you please escort Mr. Wayne out? And she's like, Mr. Wayne's like, Mr. Wayne, your coat, even though he's still looking at us, like, oh. And it's like, you don't seem like the type that does business with Mr. Shrek. I like how they rebuff each other's sayings sometimes. And she's like, Andrew's like, well, you seem like don't try to do business with them. I was like, maybe we should go out sometime. You know, she's like, well, I'm working. And Bruce is like, I'm leaving. You know, has to pick up his briefcase, better jobs and stuff. And then Chip is like to Max, you bought that whole business stuff, blow stuff? I was like, no, I don't, Chip. No surprise to me, Chip, except you're like mother. Bottom line, you know, I like it when Christopher Walken says this, and Max says this. Bottom line, she tries to blackmail me. I'll push her out a higher window. Meanwhile, I got better fish to fry. But he's able to talk Penguin into becoming mayor. The Penguin, I was surprised for you. I don't like surprises, and he gets my favorites. By the way, Danny DeVito did really eat fish, so not cooked. But he's eating in the surprise, like, you know. He's like, "Isn't this not like December for the election?" It's like, come on. And he shows these people, Josh, and he's having a laugh at them. She's trying to take off his clothes, like, you know, maybe we try another time. And then this guy, you know, tries to give Penguin a cigarette. Penguin doesn't like it. That cigarette he gives him. And then pretty much this Josh guy calls Penguin ugly. He's like, not many services in the sewer, huh? And a lot of them people's laughing out. You know, it was like, this could be worse. My nose could be gushing blood. You know, and the guy, and Josh is like, you know, what do you mean your nose could be gushing? And he was like, you know, and then he bites his nose, and you see blood squabbling everywhere. And he goes, oh. And then, you know, Max takes care of the situation like, back to work, everybody. Let's make a meal. And then he talks to Penguin. You know, Penguin like, I sure like to feel her voice talking about Josh's wife or whatever that he likes. Show my fresh flipper trick. He's like, and he asks Penguin to cause some chaos. Maybe blame it on, you know, the mayor himself because he can't protect Gotham City. And then, you know, he convinces Oswald does like the attention and the charm he can use on the city as part of his plan to maybe play them, you know, bigger plans for Gotham. And he's like, alright, I'll be mayor. Yeah. Oh yeah, well, Master Plant was a giant captor, which is just power from Gotham City, and gives Shrek a complete melee over Gotham's power. So that's his plan. And then, you know, Penguin says, "Burn, baby, burn!" You know, and then you see his man terrorizing the city, beating people up, you know, blowing things up, just terrorizing the city. Of the poor lady, her poor little dog puts a bomb in the store. One guy's got a missile. They're arresting people. Batman shows up, picks two guys up, knocks them out, and then he's fighting the Red Triangle gang, doing some cool moves, taking them out one by one. You know. Hey, he's not killing them though, he's just beating them up. You know. And good action here. Good fisticuffs with Batman knocking some of the crews out, and the Pin Punchers run up to Batman. with the bomb. Batman grabs one and knocks him out. And Batman runs up to these other villains. All four are gonna try to get him. Batman gets a battle ring, clicks it out, clicks it, and sets it to attack these four. There's one guy, pow, pow, third guy. But then the portal grabs it. And so, since Batman's not gonna hurt a lady, she just gets away. The Penguin knocks the Penguin flying out. He's just walking to go see if I'm more villains, to probably see if he can find Penguin, or just continue fighting villains. But meanwhile, while this is all happening, Selena goes as Catwoman. She basically breaks into Shrek's apartment store or whatever. She uses a whip to knock the heads off these mannequins, which Michelle Pfeiffer, like I said, she had to practice 3 months of using the whip, by, of course, a whip trainer. And she did really good. And one take, she got it. So that's what Burton said. One take, she was able to knock all the 4 heads off the mannequins and destroy some stuff. These cops try to shoot at her, or they don't. I don't know whether they opened a fire, fall in love. And then Ken was like, oh, you boys, always not thinking with your pistols or something like that. And then, she uses a whip. He's like, you're overpaid, now hit the road. And, when she's also, using it, kind of using her whip as a jump or whatever. I forget what you call it. As a jump rope, And eventually she starts a bomb. She puts a bomb in the department. But before it blows up, though, Batman, who is still trying to find Penguin, one of the men tries to sneak up on him. Batman punches him, pulls a knife out of his throat, because he pulls out of his throat and knocks him out. Then he runs into the tattooed strong man, and then he hits Batman. He's like, he's like, Batman, go ahead, hit me. Batman hits him up. And then Batman looks down and sees a bomb on him, and strong man's like, and Batman's like, and then knocks him out and basically blows him up. Then he runs into Penguin, like, I'm minding your, and he confronts Penguin. He's like, I'm minding your handiwork. I was like, during rights, mayor stuff. He's like, you're not the mayor. It's like, things change. And Batman says to Penguin, what do you want? And Penguin's like, the direct approach. I admire that in a man with a mask. You don't really think you'll win, do you? And Batman's like, things change. And then all of a sudden Catwoman comes flipping toward them. She's like, and then it blows up. And Catwoman runs away. Batman's just standing there. Penguin sees Penguin, his every use his umbrella like a helicopter, and is like, I saw it first, gotta fly. And Penguin just gets on the umbrella, flies away. And Catwoman knows that Batman's coming up, so she kicks Batman. Batman, and her, they have a bit of a fist cut. Batman's just kind of moving. He doesn't want to hit her because, again, she's a woman. Because, hey, yeah, you can't hit a woman, right? But Batman does hit her because eventually she cuts him too much, and Batman just knocks her out. And she's like, she used that to advantage, by the way. She's like, how could you? I'm a woman. And he's like, Batman's like, I'm sorry. And then she kicks Batman, kicks him back. But before he falls, she saves him. She's like I said, I'm a woman, and I can't be taken for granted. Like a bitch. No, so am I. And Batman uses the gears to injure her arm. She nearly falls and gets her, but Batman jumps and saves her. And she's like, who are you? Who's the man behind the back? They have this weird moment. Maybe you can help me find the woman behind the cat. She's like, Freddy rubs down on him and is like, no, there you are. That's you. And Batman just shared for a moment. Because the Catwoman and him are having an attraction to each other. But she just presses her claws into him, and Batman punches her, knocks her, and she gets in a shard of sand. I guess you could say she's like this, saved by kitty litter. And sees her arm, her shoot down. She's like, oh, bastard! And then you see Penguin give a speech. I was like, I may have saved the mayor's baby, but I refuse to save a mayor who acts like a baby, that turned the crazed mobs into clowns, and the crazed women into Catwoman, or something like that. Homemakers into Catwoman. And this is like, Mr. Cobblepot, you're the hottest young role model we have, and you're the young hot model or role model we want. Here, wear a button. And he's like, I'm Oswald Cobblepot. And there's a penguin. No, my name's Oswald Cobblepot. Oswald, there's somebody here to see you. And Catwoman, who's coming to team up with a penguin. And he's like, just a pussy I've been looking for. I was like, it's chilly here. And Penguin's like, I'll warm you. She's like, down, Oswald. I was like, we both have the same face, like, the Fly, not old man. It's like Batman. We're both the same. It's like Appetite for Destruction, Mayhem, our sexual naked, that charisma, Batman. Oh, him, don't worry about him. They pretty much got a blueprint of the Batmobile, which I don't know how they did that, but, Batman, California was very claimed to frame Batman. I think he said most of the ideas to frame him for murder. Penguin was like, why should I trust some catball anyway? He makes fun of her, and then, Penguin has a bird in his birdcage. Penguin's like, that means Catwoman. She's like, hey, little birdie here, and Penguin sees what she's doing. She grabs the bird, puts the bird in her mouth. And Michelle Pfeiffer actually really did put a bird in her mouth. Like, she did have a live bird in her mouth. And she's like, Penguin gets mad and is like, nice kitty. Grabs his umbrella, got a knife, grabs the cat. And she lets go, like, tell him what Batman did. Like, I want to play a part in his downfall. The best of getting Batman is making me feel dirty. Like when Penguin makes a kind of a bat signal. And she's like, maybe I'll give myself a bath out here, and Penguin's just watching her. It's not to take a bath. We're going to see it do longer, but anyway. But later on, Bruce meets with Selena. They pretty much talk about their alter egos, even though they don't know that Batman. He's like, you kind of like a dark side. He sees that Bruce kind of sees that a woman who maybe kind of just like him, kind of can see himself, kind of like can see this woman in himself. Well, kind of like just like him, that they might just be like the same, So he asks her out. She goes to date Bruce. Go eat at his mansion. They set the fireplace, talks about Vicky, and talks about everything. Because you might be thinking I'm a Ted Bundy type. It's like at least psychos are committed, and you might not let me kiss you, and they start making out with each other, and she gets touches his scar, which Catwoman cut him at. And he almost sees her scar, which Batman gave her, And Bruce is like, can't do that. And Selena's like, neither can I. But, then you see this thing on TV, but the Ice Princess has been missing, so their plan, Penguin and Broadway go to the Ice Princess who's practicing her routine, which she's going to do. Sorry. Her routine, Penguin's like, talent scout. She's like, oh, come in. I'm not just a princess, but I'm an actress too as well. And it said, say cheese. She's like, cheese. And then Penguin's like, throws a battle ring. I mean, they hurt her, but they kidnap her. And pretty much Commissioner Gordon has on TV that Batman did it. Bruce realizes the makeout was only the intense makeout, that they can't do it because of the scars. He tries to tell Alfred about it. Alfred's like, give me to tell her, how to go do a business deal or whatever. And he's like, I will leave the mister, and he lets him go. And then, I was like, Miss Kyle, Mr. Wayne wanted to tell you, oh, Mr. Wayne, well, Alfred, could you tell him that he's the greatest of evolve, and he's like this, a good relationship. She said something, and I find this so funny, it just killed me, because the scene made me laugh, and Alfred's look on his face is like, I just can't do it, but I'll go as Alfred, his face, that look in that scene, just, this movie's not all dark and violent, people. It does have a sense of humor in it. And that was one of the sense of humor moments. I just thought it was funny when, Alfred just gave it that look. She just run almost in the back cave where Luisa is like, this way, madam. And lets her out. And Batman, as he's got to go find the Ice Princess, go rescue her. We see Bruce go to his bat suit, his bat cowl, his bat boots, and we see him come out as Batman, and Selina's driving there, but getting her cat suit open. Yeah. He doesn't really want to kill Batman, he just wants to get back at him for what he did to her. Yeah. Might go get some more water, y'all. Yeah. But anyway, Batman does show up in Gotham. Out of the Batmobile, of course, like in Batman 89, he's able to, like, keep it guarded, or, the Batmobile, if somebody steals it or breaks into it or anything. But when Batman goes to search for the Ice Princess, the Red Triangle Gang show up. They get control, they have Blueprint of the Batmobile so they can open the Batmobile, and they start working on it, start putting this control in it. They put it under a trap, under Penguin's control. The mayor speaking at Gotham Plaza, and they open the tree lighting of the ceremony. Batman's just, watching and looking down, and looks up and sees the Ice Princess. He's able to use the Bat Grabble and able to fly down there. We'll glide down there, basically, by using his gadget. He sees that Princess like, they're going to say that I did it. She's like, don't worry, Batman. I was just telling them I was kidnapped by a man, but ugly fish breath. Catwoman shows up and is like, hey, did somebody say food? I haven't been fed all day. And, she kicks back Batman goes like this. Eat floor. High fiber. I like that line. I know some people don't, but I like it. But Batman's like, he's like, was Catwoman? Catwoman just says, hey, Stella, I thought we had something together. We do. And then, she's able to kick Batman back. And she goes to chair and he's like, gotta go, girl talk, Then, Catwoman puts herself over the ledge, and Batman's like, stay still, don't move. Batman goes, don't move. And Penguin's like, wrong dart, comes and is like, bats with wings to get things. And you see these bats, and she gets freaked out, and she falls to her death, which is a miniature shot, which really not shot, by the way, holds up. Falls to her death. Then you see the bats coming out of the Christmas tree, which is an awesome scene. The cops shoot at Batman. Catwoman comes to the floor with him, right on top of him. Was like, I try to say, every woman should try to say ends up dead are reluctant of you. It was like, maybe you should just retire Batman. She gives Batman a cat kiss by licking him in the face. You're the second man that killed me this week. And she's going to try to stab Batman again. But I think Batman, after the last encounter, when he found out Catwoman was, he was able to pull that claw out of him. He's like, meow. And Alfred comes to probably stitch him up, which we don't see in this movie, but you can figure he would if Bruce would get hurt, But anyway, Batman pushes her back, and Batman gets the claw, throws it at her, and is like, then she realized something different about her, that the claw was damaged. She's like, Batman's able to find a way not to get scratched by her, and she's like, damn, and Batman is able to use like bat wings or something, and is able to fly down, which I thought was an awesome scene. It looks very cool. Then he goes back to his Batmobile after the Red Triangle Gang set back up, leave it the way it is, the way Batman left it. Batman comes to his car, they're like, there's Batman. Batman knows he has to get away because the mob crowd can get arrested or killed, so he has to get away. And then, Penguin's like, alright, well, Penguin and Catwoman have a talk. They drink some champagne about their plan. He tells Catwoman he wants her to help her and his wife become mayor, become like his love interest, like maybe a mistress to him, and she refuses him. I won't even touch her or scratch. She's like, you lousy mix, he's sitting on the signals, and I don't like you anymore. She has to kill Catwoman, but Catwoman, with clothes ever snatched it, she starts flying away with it, and Penguin's like, goodbye, my lieutenant, go to heaven. And then Catwoman was able to get a claw right out of stuck from the umbrella. Doesn't die, but she falls in a studio plant or whatever like that. Well, florist plant or whatever. She always makes plants, and then she, through windows, like a flower house or whatever, florist house of plants. And then she go, see her blonde hair sticking up because she got damaged. She's like, screams and then breaks all the windows. And then Oswald goes to, get in his trailer, get into the little Batmobile control. He's like, and then Batman sees him on the screen, and then Penguin's like, and he's like, hello, welcome to the Oswald Cobblepot School of Driving. And he drives off, and Batman can't do nothing about it. He's like, the Batmobile goes going crazy, and he hits some cops, and damages cars and stuff. And Penguin's like laughing, and he's going crazy in there. He's like, this is a bad time to mention this, but my license expired. And no, that's not the problem. But I noticed the Penguin, Batman puts this disc into his Batmobile, which is recording what Penguin is saying. And Penguin doesn't know that, but because he thinks he's going to finally kill Batman, basically. And he starts saying, "Don't worry, I'll take care of these pin puppets, heads of Gotham," or something like that. He's like, "I played this thing in City like a heart from hell." And of course, he would eat those words later, will cause him trouble later. But Batman's trying to find out what the condition is. He can't get the Batmobile to work because of the damage. So he finds out that there's a homing signal or something controlling this. He kicks the bottom, the Batman locates it, his Bat computer does. Kicks the bottom of it, grabs it and breaks it. And Penguin's like, can't control it. It's like this. And he screams, and Batman just punches the camera out. And the police are still chasing Batman. He's in control of the Batcave just running, and he can do things where he can flatten the Batmobile, kind of like a pizza. He uses technology to flatten it because there's a building he can't escape out of. So he's like, "Now we're ready." He starts pushing the button, and works. Finally, he's able to get out of there and escape. But eventually, they find out having the disc and find out Penguin's true intentions of who he really is. Since they set Batman up, and he's mad, and he's talking to Max, he's like, he didn't even lose a limb, an eyeball, anything. And he's like, calm down, Oswald. You'll get Batman soon. Come on. Cobblepot, Shrek, team. And he tries to go talk to them. He puts them a good message. He's like, he relied on a man, a Batman, to take care of our problems. And then Batman and Alfred, when they go take care of this situation, when they do make the reference to, when Vicky was in the Batcave, which, again, I never had an issue, when Alfred was in the Batcave, which I never had an issue with, because, again, she knew he was Batman. But anyway, go check out that review. In an interview, I'll mention that. But anyway, I like the joke here when Bruce says, security in the Batcave, really, Alfred? Who let Vicky be in the Batcave? Oh, hi, Vic, come on in. And he's able to, it's like a statue that he can go in, and it turns to a slide, he can slide him down into the Batcave. Alfred takes the stairs, and Alfred's able to go on the back computer as well. They're able to link up to the signal, and they jam the signal, and Bruce puts the disc in, and then these words come out, and people can hear what he said before. Like I said, his words like eaten. It's like, I'll play these pinheads of Gotham City. I'll play this thing in City like a heart from hell. And then the Gotham Knights are realizing that Penguin has been tricking them the whole time. He's been lying to them. And their anger is like, boo! Penguin's like, I didn't say that. And they boo. Penguin's like, no. And then, everybody ditches him. Even Matt Shrek looks at Penguin's like, he just walks away, humiliates and embarrasses Penguin, and Penguin gets food thrown at him. He's like, why is it always somebody brings extra to me in the speech? Like they're throwing their food at Penguin, and Penguin's blowing off, and he starts shooting at them with his umbrella gun, and he's able to run. He got the cops chasing him, knocks a couple down, jumps back into the sewer, and I'll be right back. I'm going to get some more water. I'll be right back, folks. Be right back. Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry about that, just had to go get more water. But anyway, Penguin returns to his lair. He's like, my babies! Did you miss me talking to his penguins, pets? And, the thing clown says, nice speech, Oswald. Like, Penguin's like, oh! And he's like, I can't do this, but he does it so, if he does it so well, he's like this. My name is not Oswald, it's Penguin! I am not a human being. I am an animal. Cold-blooded. Cranky, I see. Where are my list? Bring me the names. And he's like, here's the first thing. These are the firstborn sons of Gotham City, which originally he's going back to the plan, which he's going to kill the firstborn sons of the city. He's like, and if, like me, a terrible fate waits for them. These are the firstborn sons of Gotham City. And we will snatch them, carry them, and bury them into a deep, dark, watery grave. And then the fat clown says, Penguin, killing stupid children, isn't that a little, I guess you can say, insane? Then he stops there and the penguin's like, gets his umbrella, and then kills the clown, shoots him. No, that's a lot, and kicks him. And, before he sees to his plan. Then you have Alfred telling Bruce that Max Shrek is throwing his party, and that Bruce has been invited. Bruce like not interested, but wait, Selena Carr might be there. And him and Selena dance. They first show you get that face-to-face music going on, and they talk. And then she's like, Bruce is like, I'm sorry about the other night. I had a business. And she's like, I had to go home and feed my cat. And, she tells him about Max. She pulls out a little gun. I was like, don't tell me, kill Max when he's so high up. He should be 6 feet. I was like, who the hell do you think you were? I don't know anymore, Bruce. And they kiss each other, and she sees a mistletoe. And it's the line they used with Batman's Catwoman earlier, when she's like, Catwoman, Selena's like, mistletoe can be deadly if you eat it. And Bruce says, but a kiss can be even deadlier if you mean it. And then they look at each other, and then they realize who they are, that their identities, that they're Batman and Catwoman. I think that's when they truly found out. I mean, Selena, I would doubt, would even be shocked at the end, which I'll get to that. Because I think at that moment they realize who they should have. They decide to go talk. But before they do, Penguin crashes the party, literally does crash the party in his Duckmobile. Penguin was like, Penguin rides up in his Duckmobile like, you didn't invite me, so I crashed. And it's like, right now my troops are starting out for your children. Yes, your children. While you just dressed up like jerks and dance badly. And then he tries to kidnap Chip, and Max was like, no, for the love of God, for mercy, please, take me instead. He's like, I don't, so no. I was like, wait, wasn't it Chip who humiliated you and betrayed you? Or see his eyeballs through raw sewage? And he's like, okay, come on, I'll let the little prince live for now. Tells Max Shrek, comes like, Max Shrek's like, oh, come on. I do like there's a scene between him and Bruce Wayne earlier, where, he's like, because it was like, let me get your suit, 2 shoes, Mr. Trust fund, goody goody. I was like, you just made a monster out of the mayor of Gotham City, turned a monster into the mayor of Gotham City. He's like this, I am the light of the city. It was like, doesn't matter who's mayor, it does to me. And then, some really awkward reason, because, Shrek does this, yawn, and Bruce is like, I don't know, it was just kind of weird, but alright. But anyway, Max tries to pat on the penguins, almost bite him, and the penguins lose him, the Duckmobile goes down. After Bruce hears this, he goes out as Batman, back to the Batcave to go be Batman and stop Penguin. Bruce, Batman, we do see the gang. Now again, nothing happens to little children. They're in the cages, but Batman thankfully shows up for anything could happen. The orangutan, grinder man, training the man, or whatever, sees the shadow Batman. He's like, and Batman grabs him, probably to interrogate him where Penguin is at. And he sends his pet monkey to a cave to back to the Penguin. And Penguin tells my shirt, he's got him locked up in a birdcage. He's like, then you join them in death. He's got like a baby umbrella and he's just dancing. And then when he sees, he's like, tells the monkey, like, where are all the little children at? And he gives him this note. Dear Penguin, the children regret that are unable to attend. Batman is like, And then he assembles his Penguin army to get these Penguin missiles. It's like this. Our plan is failed, thanks to Batman. Now it's time to punish all God's children. Male and female, hell, the sexes are equals. So most of you won't be, it's okay to be scared. Most of you won't be coming back. The liberation of Gotham has begun. Forward march! As they go off, the Penguins go off, and the signal is for them to go to Gotham City, shoot the missiles off and blow Gotham City up and kill everybody, basically. But Batman, who's in his bat ski jet, I think it's like which is cool. I like the bat ski. It was really cool. It was a miniature done, but Alfred's able to help him here as well. Like I said, Alfred does help out a little bit in this movie. Alfred's able to get a link on the computer, back computers, to control what the Penguins are being at. And as Penguin and the Poi is announcing that the Penguins are approaching 9 minutes to strike, and they count the countdown. Batman almost gets killed by Penguins who try to blow him up with missiles, but he's able to kind of, shoot the basket around, fly around like this to get away. And Batman's like, okay, let's turn him around. Yes, sir. And then Alfred turns the signal on, gets them away. Something is wrong. Something has jammed the signal pool, he says, and Penguin's like, Penguin then, realizes something's coming, that Batman's probably coming. Knows it. And, of course, he's got his men here, but all his men just are either been beaten up, and the rest of them just say, they just say, screw this, we're out of here. They just leave. They don't want to fight Batman. They're too scared. So they just say, okay, we're done. It's over. They just leave him. And Penguin himself just has to take care of it himself. Of course, because villains don't give up. They would really go kill the hero themselves in typical way of movies. So he gets in his Dumbmobile, rides up there. Batman sees the signal of the Dumbmobile where it can be at. Batman crashes in. Penguin's like, And after this Harlem crash of the Vesky jumping on the Dumbmobile, destroying it, Batman gets out of there and looks around, sees a Penguin. Penguin jumps on him. He's choking Batman with one of the bills like, you're just jealous! Because I'm a chicken, I'm gonna freak you have to wear a mask. Yeah, I think you're right, Penguin. He's like, right on both counts, and pushes fingers like that. But it comes down to who's holding the umbrella, and pulls a knife out. And Batman grabs this jammer that he has, and he flips it, and you this nice shade of Keaton's eyes laying down, and Penguin sees it, and he's like, because he sees that all his penguins are like this, my babies! And then he's mad for Batman, so starts, you get that knife from both sides. Batman's like, dodging him. Almost gets a cut on Batman, and then, is able to slice the signal out of Batman's hand, and Batman just punches him. And Penguin grabs the signal, and Batman knows that another bad's going to happen, so Penguin pushes it, and, and the flock of bats come out, and Penguin goes, and then he falls into the toxic waste water. Max tries to escape, tricks the monkey to get him out. But I said, come here, and he gets it. And then the Catwoman's whip grabs him using the wire. He grabs a gun, I guess, that the fat clown sees the dead body of the fat clown and grabs that gun and hides it. And Catwoman grabs it like, I don't know what you want, but I can give it for you. But the memorable force is like, I want your blood. And my blood up there. Sorry, Max. I kill for a kill. And she's playing her revenge. And then Batman lies down. And then Max is like, you're not just here to save me. You're just here to save me. And then Batman's like, shut up. You're going to jail for what you did. And, Catwoman was like, Batman. The world doesn't matter to him or us. It's like, why are you doing this? And it's like, Batman tries to talk her out of killing him, getting her revenge. To punish her to face the police, he's like, Selena, please, you don't have to do this. Selena, we're the same. Splat! Ripped out the center. I was like, and then to show a sign of peace, I guess, hands her arm just trying to, and then Batman just takes off his mask. Yeah, the black mask eyes are gone, but that's fine because he doesn't even look like a raccoon anyway. So other people nitpick at that, but I have no problem with it. It's a movie, so it doesn't matter. But then he pulls his mask off, and he's like, Bruce. He's like, tells her he's okay. He's like, and she cuts him. He's like, I just don't want to live. I just can live myself. So don't pretend this is a happy ending. And then, Max Shrek is like, Selena Kyle, and she takes off her mask. Like, you're fired. And Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed up like Batman? Because he is Batman, you moron. Was, and then shoots Batman, or, just pretends to be dead. It was like, Batman fans, man, people fans, a lot of stuff, he got enough to finish it off. He's like, we'll see. And he shoots her, he's like, 5, 6, still alive. She's like, 7, 8, all good girls go to heaven. And he adds the other gun or something. Like, I think I'll stay home for next Christmas. He's like, in the meantime, he gives a taser. He's like, how about a kiss at the cord? And then grabs the water and is able to get it on, Max Shrek and basically fries him, kills him. It does cause the explosion. Batman, Bruce is watching, of course being unmasked, watching this family just, after the explosion happens. Because he can't find Catwoman, so he can't find Selena. But all he finds is Shrek's blackened corpse. Which I can say is pretty creepy to look at, but I like that, And Penguin gets out of the water. I know parents complain about this too, but again, it's a dark movie. At least they have balls to do this. Penguin is bleeding black blood. He's like, and sure on his last breath, just walking. But by mistake, ends up picking the cute one. The kitty umbrella, picks it up by accident, and he's like, shh. You can't barely understand it, but he says this, I believe. He's like, shit, I picked up the cute one. It was like this, Batman, I'll murder you momentarily. Momentarily. He's like, but first, I need a drink of ice cold water. And dies. And this scene is great, I think, because the penguins came out that when Oswald was a baby, and since he just died, the penguins come out just walking and wobbling, and drag Penguin's body into the water, and of course let's see him drowning to his death, to his final resting place. And Bruce just watches. But the music in that scene, I think, is just excellent, in my opinion. Amazing, really, I think. This is me, though, I think of it. Danny Elfman did a great job with that. And then at the end, and it's Christmas, and Bruce is driving his car with Alfred driving, of course, and he sees Selena. Goes like, Alfred, stop the car. He tries to see if he can find Selena, but he finds a pet cat, I guess, that she gave to him as a gift. It was a Christmas gift, I guess, to say goodbye. And Bruce just walks back with the cat, And he's like, "Oh, come what may. Merry Christmas, Mr. Wayne," Alfred says to Bruce. And Bruce is like, "Merry Christmas, Alfred. Goodwill toward men." Goes to the cat and he says, "And women." And then the sky figure Catwoman appears looking at the signal. Then you have the best one, which is not Michelle Pfeiffer, by the way, but you have Catwoman looking up. Not Michelle Pfeiffer, just a body double. And it's a big CGI too. And then the movie ends there, and that's the end of... I think it's okay to turn it on, I guess. Yeah. And that's the end of Batman Returns. So anyway, folks, let me read some quotes real quick. I know, I'm sorry, but I couldn't help but go into depth in this video. In depth. Maybe I'll read some quotes real quick. "How can you be so mean to someone so meaningless? I'm a woman and can't be taken for granted. Life's a bitch. Now so am I." "We need to talk. You see, you and I have something in common. Sounds familiar. Appetite for destruction, commitment to the chaos of fashion. Wait, don't tell me. Naked sexual charisma, Batman, David Thorne, and both are says the fly in our ointment. Women, nothing surprises me, Chip, except your late mother. The thought of busting Batman makes me feel dirty. I would love to live with you in a castle forever, just like in fairy tale. I just can't live myself, so don't pretend this is a happy ending. My dear penguins, we stand on my great threshold. It's okay, BC. I know you won't be coming back. Thanks to Batman, the time has come to punish all God's children. First, second, and third, and fourth born. Bye-bye bias, male and female. Hell, the sexes are equal. Forward, march. You gotta admit, I play this stinking city like a heart from hell. You gotta admit, I play this stinking city like a heart from hell." Not even an office yet, and already an enemies list. Those names are not for prying eyes. This is all just a bad dream. You're at home resting in bed, heavily sedated, resting comfortably, dying from occasions you personally screwed in a lifetime of poverty, tragic irony, or poetic justice. You tell me. You're Beauty and the Beast, and Wallace's Christmas gift pack. I am home. I forgot I'm not married. Mistletoe can be deadly if heated, but a kiss can be even deadlier if you mean it. Alright guys, well, kind of getting exhausted here. Alright. I'm just going to go ahead and end the review. Okay, give my final opinion on Batman Returns. My thoughts on that and stuff and my problems with it. But anyway, here we go. Batman Returns, in my opinion, it's an underrated sequel. To me, this is not a movie for kids. Again, look at this poster. It's not a movie for children. Just look at Batman, Catwoman, Penguin especially. Look at that. Does that seem like it was something to be for children? No. So again, parents complaining, and I know after this they did change the franchise to a family-friendly direction. Even though I like Batman Forever, and I do like Batman and Robin, that just wasn't the way to go. But this is why studios should not bow down to a parent. Commands. Okay? Demands, I mean. Because again, parents don't run the movies. I'm sorry that the kids cry in theaters, but you know what, parents? Why couldn't you tell your kid, let's give you some advice about a movie. If you have a kid, and they're in the movies, and they get scared, you tell them, hey, look, it's fantasy. It's fantasy. You tell them that a movie, you let them know it's fantasy. You know, and maybe they'll grow up one day, and who knows, those kids now, they probably do enjoy Batman Returns. We don't know. I don't know. You know, if you do grow up, yes. When I was younger, I was probably, 13 or 14 when I saw this movie, a teen, so it probably scared me a little bit. But again, I'm used to the darkness of the movie. Again, it's Batman. It's dark. Batman is a dark, mysterious character, you know. But I do enjoy this movie for what it is. It's a good sequel. It's underrated. I do like the story. You know, Batman, yeah, he's not in a lot. I'd say for me, this is a Tim Burton Batman film. Not just a Tim Burton movie, but a Batman film as well, yes. Again, Batman is a dark, mysterious character. Michael Keaton, once again, with the eyes, and he has the presence. He's scary as Batman. The suit, I think, looks better, and he's intimidating still, but he has plenty of moments to shine in this film. I mean, Batman kicks ass and takes names in this movie. He's got plenty of time to shine, you know. But this is an ensemble film, if you think about it, yeah, because it is mainly about all these three characters, you know. And Catwoman, I love, you know, my favorite Catwoman is Michelle Pfeiffer. She's just perfect in my opinion as Catwoman. Who cares if she's not a Catwoman? I don't care about the comics, to be honest, because Michelle Pfeiffer, I think, did a fantastic job as Catwoman. She's gorgeous, she's slick, beautiful, sexy in that costume, and you feel sorry for her because she's a woman living in a man's world that, she is mistreated, and, she just doesn't get respect, and I think she just gets tired of it. And being Catwoman, she, even she's just putting away, she's like private pain, and she just exposes that as being Catwoman. That was just somebody who's been saved. So she's not really bad, she's more of an anti-hero. She kills, unlike Batman. Catwoman, she does kill, but she does have a good heart, but she's just astray, runs astray, basically, as Michelle Pfeiffer would put it. So I would say she's, as Michelle Pfeiffer put it, Catwoman is a good and bad, basically both. An anti-hero, basically. So, yeah. Penguin is just straight up villain. Fuck the comics. I don't care about that. I thought he was great as Penguin. Yes, his lines can be over-sexualized and stuff. People, Penguin's a pervert. Well, again, he's a villain. Villains would say something disturbing because they don't care. They're villains. They don't care. They're sick. They're gross. And, But Oswald, I give him sorry for him. It's really fucked up what the parents do. Like I said, they abandon him. They throw him in a basket. He's a baby. His parents throw him in the sewer. That's messed up. And so I can understand his reasoning for wanting to kill first, but hey, at least they have balls to do it. So, yeah. So Michael Keaton, Dan DeVito, Michelle Pfeiffer all do great jobs as their characters. Tim Burton did a great job of writing. No, I don't think he went overboard. He went darker. He had to go bigger with the sequel. I think the script is good. The cinematography, the way Gotham City looks fantastic. Now, I know people say it's a Christmas movie. To me, it can be both a Christmas and a superhero movie. I don't call it an action film, no. But mainly, I would say it is a superhero film. But I would say I don't really consider this a Christmas movie. It takes place around Christmas time, but still, I consider this a superhero film. Christmas just takes place time around it. But if you want to consider a Christmas movie, that's fine. But I don't. I'm not going to get into that argument. But the cinematography looks great. The shots look great. The special effects, CGI, miniatures, I think look fantastic. Stan Winston, may he rest in peace. He was a legend in the business. The man can make special effects. Can make, knows what he's doing for a living. He just knew what he was doing, and the paintings they look great and very practical. And some of it was animatronics, but the editing, the music score by Danny Elfman, perfect. My favorite scores are probably Selena's score and, of course, Batman's theme, the main theme, and Penguin's death at the end. I think that was probably my favorite. Penguin's death when he died, or when Selena breaks down. Good music, and of course good theme for Batman. So, and a good score for the Retron game when they attack the city. I like it. So, Danny Elfman, great job once again on the score of Batman Returns. And the Batmobile looks awesome. The Batmobile was awesome, and the Batmobile here, cool. And again, the movie's only about 2 hours. It's 126 minutes long. But it doesn't feel like it, in my opinion. It feels like it goes about a good pace. I think it is a little better pace than the first movie. First movie is more about development with Batman, but this movie is not. Batman is fully trusted in this movie, and the other cast members like Michael Gough as Alfred, Paddington does a good job. Christopher Walken's good. Michael Murphy, all the others really good. Visual effects really good. Okay, problems. Well, I would agree with Gene Siskel that Christopher Walken, even though he's a great actor, he's one of the best, he would also go to be in Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow in 1999, starring Johnny Depp. He played the Horseman in that movie, so, yeah. It's awesome that they created a character that was not in the comics, but Max Schreck kind of was just a character that wasn't needed in this movie. For me, he was just a character. The whole plot of the power plant, I didn't find interesting. I just felt like, Matt Schreck was just here to drive the plot of the movie along, just for Penguin to continue his plans and Catwoman to continue with, her revenge. So it just feels like he's just here to drive the story and mainly the revenge for Catwoman, basically. Just kind of a character that you didn't really need, but I'm not complaining too much because he does a great job. He does make it for that. I just think his plan interests me, and the whole thing with the blueprints for the Batmobile, I don't know how they did that. That kind of was a little confusing to me. I'm like, how do they get the blueprints? That didn't make no sense. But it's more of a minor issue, a nitpick. And also the Penguins, having Mr. I thought that was silly. I don't think you needed that. I think that was kind of a little too much, in my opinion. Just a bit too much, a little too silly, But again, it's a comic book movie, so sometimes you have to do something like that. And then, the Batman mask, that's a nitpick. When he takes off the mask, I don't have an issue with it. But I can't really think of any of the problems. Commissioner Gordon has nothing to do with this movie. Gordon is just here with live to signal, be with his cops, be on TV, and that's it. They don't do nothing with Commissioner Gordon in this movie, or the other two movies, or any other movies. Gordon has nothing to do. He should be a more developed character in these movies, and they never did nothing with Commissioner Gordon. Pat Hingle, it's just like he's just here to be Commissioner Gordon, that's it. They don't give him no story, nothing. Nothing but just a brief conversation with Batman, and I'm like, you should have done a lot more with Gordon in this movie, but they don't, sadly. And Batman Forever is the same thing. He's just in a couple scenes of Batman and Robin. He's just pretty much dressed like Chief O'Hara from the Batman 60s TV show. But anyway, there's some issues I have, and but I can handle the dark, disturbing stuff. And again, it's a dark movie, and again, it's Batman. It's dark, so what do you expect? It's not lighthearted. It's not a kid-friendly movie. It's dark, serious, more for adults. Don't let your kids watch this movie. If you want your kids to watch Batman, parents, back then I know it went on DVD, but it is now. So, I know some people know parents. If their children are watching, don't let them watch Batman Returns or Batman '89. Just the Batman 60 show in the movie. So, if you want your kids to watch Batman, introduce them to the Adam West Batman first. And then when they get a little older, maybe like me, if they get 13 or 14, whatever, they can watch the Batman '89 Returns movie. So, or Batman Forever. That's okay to watch, since it's more family friendly. But but overall, I don't know what else I was going to say about Batman Returns though. But it's a fun sequel, awesome sequel. Tim Burton's Batman films are still one of the best to me. But Batman Returns is a fun sequel. I just prefer Batman '89 to be better, in my opinion, because I think it's just overall a bit of a better movie. But I still think I think it's just as good as Batman '89. To me, they're both great movies. They're both classics, and this is a classic. Very underrated and overrated Batman movie. Probably the most underrated Batman film, live-action Batman film, in my opinion, is Batman Returns. Batman and Robin, I can understand how people hate it. If people hate this movie, I don't get it. I think they have balls to do what they did with this movie. I think it's a fun, entertaining flick. And it's not that long. It's a fun, and it does feel like a comic movie. Gotham City looks amazing, and it's a character persona. Gotham City looks great in this. Again, Tim Burton knew that this was based on comics. He knows that movies are fantasy. That's what movies are. Not just art, but mainly they are fantasy and entertainment, escapism, and that's what these two Tim Burton movies are, escapism. Entertainment. That's what movies are to me. But Batman Returns, my rating for this film is 4 out of 5 stars, and thumbs up. For Batman Returns, I give it a thumbs up. So, despite those issues I had, I still enjoy the movie. It's a fun sequel. It's entertaining. It's darker. It's more funner. It's fun. I think it's entertaining. And it balls to do what it did. It's a sequel with balls. Makes me think of what they do now in Hollywood, what they've been doing with certain characters. I'm like, the balls apparently dropped off. But anyway, Batman Returns, awesome sequel, underrated, very underrated sequel in my opinion, and a thumbs up for Batman Returns. So tell me in the comments down below, guys, what do you think of Batman Returns? Do you like it or do you hate it? Okay, I think I'm well enough in this review. Okay, my next Batman review. Alright, I'm just ending it right now, guys. Alright. Now we're getting into, I know Joe Schumacher passed away 2 years ago, but now we're getting to the Joe Schumacher Batman films. First, starting with next, probably, maybe next week, but I might not do a video next week because of 4th of July weekend. I'll be spending time with family next weekend. But anyway, my next Batman movie review for the Batman Marathon is Batman Forever. Another underrated Batman film in my opinion. Probably even more underrated than Batman Returns. But Batman Forever, is next. So look forward to my review of Batman Forever. Oh, I forgot to show you all the discs of Batman Returns. Some of the disc here. Okay. Alright, well, I won't do this 2-hour video, so we're getting there. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me the 4 to 5 stars. My rating for Batman Returns and a thumbs up. And guys, tell me what you think of Batman Returns in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about this movie, in your opinion. Also, look forward to my next Batman review, and look forward to my review of Batman Forever. And thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and bye-bye. Have a good one. Bye-bye.